I get a lot of questions in my comment section, and while some of them end up becoming ideas for full videos, I thought it might be a good idea to do one of those food tech support videos where I handpick some of the best questions I get and answer them in one video. I wrote a post and asked all of you to send in your questions. At the time of this recording, there were 297 questions. Obviously, I cannot answer all of them, so I apologize if your question is not featured. Also, many of you sent 4 to 5 questions in the same post. And to be fair to everyone, I've only picked one question per person. So here we go. Karan Chanchlani 6906 asks the role and quantity of supplementing omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s are your body's WD-40. They keep cells flexible, reduce inflammation, and feed your brain and eyes. For most people, 2 fish meals a week is enough. But before popping cod liver oil tablets, speak to your doctor. A daily spoon of flax or chia seeds or a handful of walnuts is an easy plant-based source. Another thing to consider is that if you are someone that eats out a lot and restaurant food tends to have a lot of vegetable oil, this can result in a very skewed 15:1 ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 in your diet, which is not good for you. Ideally, that ratio should be 4 or 5:1, so keep that in mind. Please watch my video on the science of fats to understand this in more detail. Vasundhara Singh 6459 asks, Hi Krish, I understand that millets can be a healthier alternative to white rice or wheat atta if they are consumed as a whole grain. But when they are turned into fine flour, almost maida-like consistency, do they still offer the same benefits? I see everyone consuming millets in the form of dosa, chila, chapati, or even cakes and muffins. In that form, is consuming millets any better than consuming white rice or atta? Thanks. Great question. It's important to remember millets are still grains. So they are carbohydrates and they have a high glycemic index. But when you eat millets unpolished and still chunky, you get their slow carb starch, bran fiber, and bonus minerals that keep blood sugar steadier than white rice or wheat. But if it's ground to a maida-like powder, much of the magic vanishes. Milling shears off fiber and breaks the starch into tiny bits, so your body digests it almost as quickly as regular atta, spiking glucose and hunger sooner. Fermenting the batter, like for dosa or idli, or combining the millet flour with pulses can reduce the spikes a little, and coarse or stone ground flours are a little better. Muhammad Mishkat 1267 asks, Hi sir, is it okay to get all vitamins and minerals from supplements and ignore food for micronutrients? I can manage my macros like protein, carbs, fats, and fiber, but I don't have much time to focus on micros. So can I rely on supplements instead? It's important to remember, a multivitamin is just a seatbelt. It's not the whole car. We eat food, not nutrients. Our bodies extract nutrients from food. Real food delivers vitamins and minerals bundled with fiber, good fats, and plant chemicals that help your body actually absorb and use them. Things a supplement pill cannot deliver. So keep supplements as insurance when a doctor diagnoses and finds a deficiency, like vitamin B12 for strict vegans, vitamin D if you're fair-skinned and don't spend enough time in the sun. But the sensible way to go about it is, if half your plate is filled with colorful vegetables or fruit, includes a handful of nuts or seeds, and some dairy or curd, you're sorted with barely any extra effort. Food first, pills only as plan B. Srini Whitey asks, Hi Krish, just wanted to get your thoughts. What's your take on sparkling water, Diet Coke, lemon water with salt, and plain water in terms of health and daily use? Plain water is still queen. No calories, no additives, and your kidneys run on it. Sparkling water is just water with carbon dioxide, so it's fine as an everyday drink, but consuming carbonated water all day long is not great for people who are prone to tummy gas, and constant acidic water in your mouth is not great for your tooth enamel. Lemon water with a pinch of salt is perfect after a sweaty workout or an outdoor walk in Chennai, but go easy if you have high blood pressure. Diet Coke gives you zero sugar, but plenty of caffeine, phosphoric acid, and artificial sweeteners. Occasional consumption is considered safe, yet daily drinking won't help weight loss and may keep your sweet cravings alive. So treat it as a special occasion indulgence, not your main hydrator. Saul Goodman 124 asks, is it necessary to rotate the refined oils that one uses in the kitchen? For example, at my home, we always are using mustard oil. Should we also switch to others like groundnut or sesame, or can we safely go ahead with mustard all the way? Thanks. So, no single cooking oil is a superhero. Mustard oil already scores well on the ideal fat balance, plenty of monounsaturated fatty acids, a touch of omega-3, low saturated fat, and a high smoke point for tadkas and frying. If the rest of your diet has some nuts, seeds, or fish, sticking with mustard most of the time is perfectly safe. That said, rotating in a second oil every month or two, say groundnut for deep frying stability or sesame for its antioxidant lignans, spreads your fatty acid profile closer to the ICMR recommended saturated fat MUFA-PUFA ratio and gives your taste buds a break. Bottom line, keep total oil to 2 to 3 tablespoons a day. Don't reuse oil till it smokes, and think of rotation as variety and insurance, not an urgent medical rule. Shrikant QX5CC asks, hi Krish, does having coffee after meals inhibit absorption of nutrients? If yes, which nutrients? Please explain the science behind it. Thanks. Coffee right after a meal primarily affects non-heme iron. This is iron from plant sources as opposed to beet. Iron from red meat is not affected by coffee. The polyphenols in the coffee attach themselves to plant iron and can reduce its absorption by roughly 40 to 70%. Calcium absorption takes a smaller hit. Each cup of coffee reduces absorption that is the equivalent of 1 to 2 tablespoons of dairy, milk or curd. So, not a big deal. Other vitamins and minerals are not meaningfully affected. So, if you are anemic or at osteoporosis risk, consider drinking your coffee at least 1 hour after meals. Actually, if you drink coffee with milk, calcium is not a problem. Everyone else can enjoy your coffee without panic. Just keep total caffeine within the usual 3 to 4 cups a day comfort zone. Haha lol 7324 asks, should we soak pulses like moong, rajma, etc. before cooking them to remove phytic acid? If yes, what should be done with the water used for soaking them? Does it have phytic acid or water-soluble useful compounds? So, phytic acid in pulses tends to reduce the absorption of iron, zinc, and calcium, and soaking rajma, chana, and whole dals for several hours can reduce the amount of phytic acid by up to 85%. So, it is good to do. Added benefit, some of the compounds that cause gas problems are also reduced. So, yes, discard the water you soak the pulses in. Ashi395 asks, can one actually ripen fruits with chemicals? In local language, people call it ripening with masala. How bad is it to eat those fruits? So yes, mango sellers sometimes masala ripen fruit by sealing it with calcium carbide chunks. The carbide releases acetylene gas that turns hard green mangoes yellow in a single day, but leaves behind residues that can irritate the gut, and with chronic exposure is not good for you. Otherwise, there is no practical way to transport them across India safely. The legitimate food-grade shortcut is ethylene gas at up to 100 parts per million. They use sachets that drip ethylene slowly. This mimics the fruit's own ripening hormone and is considered safe when used correctly. Practical tip, pick mangoes that show mixed green-yellow skin and a natural smell. Wash and peel the thick skin varieties, and don't panic if you've eaten a piece or two. The real worry is frequent consumption over an entire season. Ashutosh T8100 asks, what foods Indian ate in the 16th and 17th century? You can also start from 1st century. Please take my name. I am your big fan. Thank you, Ashutosh. India is an entire continent. If you travel back 2000 years, most Indians ate what the land around them grew. Rice or various kinds of millet porridge, wheat-based breads in the north, various kinds of dals, ghee, many kinds of highly local vegetables, various seed oils, seasonal fruit, plus meat, including beef and fish when they had access to it. An important difference, unlike today, where most people just eat rice or wheat, millets were much more common in the past. The shift to rice and wheat is a product of British colonialism and the Green Revolution in the 1960s. All the way to the 1600s, the everyday meal was some kind of khichdi, rice or millet cooked with dal. There is some version of rice plus dal in every part of India, like Pongal in Tamil Nadu and Bisibele Bath in Karnataka, with some ghee or eaten with a fermented pickle or dried fish. What radically changed Indian food after the 1600s is the arrival of Europeans. Portuguese ships introduced chilies to Goa, and South India quickly adopted chilies, while the North was still using pepper till well into the 1700s. Ironic, because pepper actually only grows in the South. At the Mughal court, biryanis, kebabs, and rich stews made with nuts, dried fruit, saffron, and lots of spices, but no chilies. And then the Europeans introduced tomatoes and potatoes and a range of European vegetables, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, etc. So much so that what we eat today would be mostly unrecognizable to someone from 500 years ago. Paul Morais 476 asks, what is the most surprising food science fact or culinary technique you've come across that completely changed the way you approach cooking or thinking about food? This is a very intriguing question, and I had to think a bit about it. The biggest aha for me was realizing that deep frying is mostly steam powered, not oil soaked. When you put a pakoda or samosa into 180 degrees Celsius oil and the water inside flashes to a fierce steam that blasts outward, forming a temporary steam jacket that actually keeps the oil at bay. That jacket lets heat race in far faster than boiling water at 100 Celsius maximum, so the center cooks quickly while the surface dehydrates and browns via the Maillard reaction into that perfect crunch we love. Because the oil cannot sneak past the steam until you lift the food out, only a thin film, roughly a tenth of the food's weight, ends up sticking around. So, fun fact, your shallow fried sabji will have more oil than the deep fried one. In short, hot oil is really a reusable liquid oven. Hold the right temperature, don't crowd the kadai, drain well, and you can use deep frying without any fear. Mellu Magics asks, early puberty in kids from 9 years and food habits of kids. Please talk about it, Krish. Thank you in advance. So this answer is going to come as a surprise. A 9-year-old hitting puberty is not automatically a crisis. It sits inside the normal global average window. Girls 8 to 13, boys 9 to 14. India used to see onset of female puberty closer to 13 or 14 in the past because many kids were undernourished, particularly girls in a patriarchal and rural society. Essentially, better nutrition and healthcare are simply nudging us towards the 9 to 11 year pattern. But yes, what can accelerate this further? Extra body fat. Adipose tissue makes estrogen, so sugary drinks, ultra-processed snacks, and not playing enough outdoor games could increase the risk of childhood obesity and early puberty. There is also some evidence that endocrine disrupting chemicals like BPA, phthalates from plastics add a smaller risk, but that is still under research. So the bottom line, earlier puberty is mostly due to us treating girl children better. But modern day overeating and inactivity are increasing the risk. So stop blaming things like milk and hormone injected chickens, etc. Radha Ramesh 96 asks, does afternoon nap make us put on weight? So a quick 15 to 30 minute afternoon nap will not cause weight gain. Weight gain comes from eating more than you burn. What studies do warn about is the habit of long siestas, like an hour or longer. But even there, those are symptoms of obesity and underlying metabolic problems, and possibly because you're not sleeping enough at night and not getting enough exercise. Short power naps actually boost alertness and can even reduce cardiovascular risk when they are kept to once or twice a week. So the bottom line is nap smart, under half an hour, soon after lunch, then get up and move. The nap is not the villain. Constant eating and low activity are. Praveen Kumar R5553 asks, can you talk about the best methods for extracting maximum flavor from saffron? You have to treat saffron like a perfume. It needs gentle treatment, not high heat. First, crumble the strands with a pinch of sugar or salt in a mortar. The grains act as sandpaper and triple the surface area. Next, add 2 tablespoons of just hot, not boiling, liquid, meaning at 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. Ideally, milk, if not water or stock. Many of the flavor molecules are fat soluble, so milk is better. And let it sit 15 to 20 minutes. And then add to your dish close to the end of the cooking process. DV1972 asks, heard a lot about calories. How exactly is it calculated that a cup of rice has this many calories? Is it calculated using any machine? Great question. I always love it when people ask first principles questions. So here is how it works. The original way scientists figured out that a cup of rice is approximately 200 calories was by burning it in a bomb calorimeter. Basically a mini furnace surrounded by water and measuring how much the water heated up. 1 calorie is the heat needed to warm 1 gram of water by 1 degree Celsius. So the rise in temperature tells you the food's energy. But obviously, nobody is burning every bag of rice today. From the original experiments, once they knew that pure carbohydrate gives about 4 calories per gram, protein 4 calories per gram, and fat 9 calories per gram, they could just analyze the rice for how much starch, protein, and fat it contains, plug those numbers into a calculator, and arrive at the label value. Labs still spot check foods with modern calorimeters, but for everyday items, we still rely on those standard numbers. Gaurav Q2P asks, why is Greek yogurt protein higher than our regular Indian curd? I understand that hanging it will strain the liquid, thereby increasing nutrient density, but Greek yogurt has like 3 times the protein. So I'm guessing there is something more going on here. Please explain. So Greek yogurt is basically dahi from which a lot of water has been removed. To get 1 bowl of it, you start with nearly 3 bowls of milk. The watery whey drips away, taking lactose and minerals but leaving almost all the casein behind. So what's left is naturally almost 2 to 3 times richer in protein. Commercial producers push the number higher by ultra-filtering the milk first or adding in skim milk powder or whey protein before fermentation. The cultures then set in this already concentrated milk. So the bottom line is nothing magical is getting added. There is simply a lot less water and in many brands, a bit more milk solids going in. So every spoonful carries roughly 3 times the protein of regular dahi. Shugato India asks, I am Shugato and I want to know the following. The mixture of coffee plus ghee plus lime juice in lukewarm water, does it help to cleanse the liver? Shugato, quick answer, no. Long answer, detox drinks are a myth. Actually, it's your liver and kidneys that do the cleansing of your body, not coffee plus ghee plus lime juice. That sounds like a really bad cocktail. dgada68 asks, hello Krish, can you please tell if while cooking nutrition value gets degraded, then to what extent we should cook, how many times we can reheat, and to what temperature, and thumb rule about shelf life of any food. I know it will differ from food to food, but category-wise, are there some norms? Thank you. All right, so here is the common sense playbook for cooking, reheating, and storing without murdering nutrients or risking food poisoning. Number 1, cook only till just done. Water-soluble vitamins B complex and C tend to get destroyed with heat. 20 to 40% can vanish if you boil veggies for more than 10 minutes. Microwaving, steaming, sauteing, or pressure cooking for under 5 minutes retains more water-soluble vitamins. Proteins, minerals, and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, nothing happens to them except when you burn them at very high temperatures. So you might want to stop when the onions are brown, not black. 2, reheat once, piping hot. Each reheat costs a little bit more vitamin C and folate and dries the dish, but the bigger worry is bacteria that survive lukewarm heating. So just take the portion you're going to consume and reheat to piping hot all the way through about 70 Celsius and finish it. Don't send it back to the fridge again. 3, temperature rules. If you have hot food you plan to serve later, make sure you keep it above 60 Celsius in a casserole or electric rice warmer. Anything below that danger zone must drop to under 5 Celsius within 2 hours. So spread rice or curry in a shallow vessel before refrigerating, because in the fridge, it takes time for it to come down to 5 Celsius, and in that time, bacteria could grow. Number 4, fridge shelf life cheat sheet.
Plain cooked rice or dal, 2 days. Veg curries and sabjis, 3 to 4 days. Meat or fish gravy, 24 to 36 hours maximum. Cut fruits and salads, finish ideally on the same day. Dry goods, atta, dal, spices, stay safe for months if they're cool, dry, and airtight. Don't break your head. If you really want them to survive a very, very long time, store them in the freezer. Number 5, some general tips. Add greens, coriander, lemon juice only right at the end. Cover food in the microwave. The trapped steam speeds heating and protects vitamins. Bottom line, cook fast, cool fast, heat once, eat soon, and you'll stay happy. All right, so that was Food Tech Support. Take care.
Explaining the science of food and debunking pseudoscience is hard work. So I request you to consider becoming a member of this channel. Members get to be part of a private group that will work together to dig into the science of food in far more detail and also discover the true joy of food.